I've decided to base my talk on the fact that life does not always go the way you expect it to. I know quite a bit about that, and how that should not stop you from having a blast and just making the best of things. So please do bear with me. I'm not deliberately trying to bore you, but if you do suffer from insomnia now and again, please regularly just feel free to use this talk as and how you see fit to send you to sleep. So let's get started. First of all, a bit of background. I'm the third born of 4 children and the youngest girl. Now, this comes with a set of advantages and disadvantages, namely always having someone to clean up your messes, basically my big sisters, and always having someone to blame your shit on, basically my little brother. So when I was younger, I was pretty hyper, I was a tomboy, I was into all kinds of different things. It just seemed impossible that I was going to settle on one thing and actually do it well. Hence, my life plan looked a little unconventional. Now, my poor parents despaired, but they were always very encouraging in whatever crazy endeavor I happened to set my heart on at a given time. So this is pretty much how I thought my life would go in terms of my aspirations. And the following is a list I made when I was 10 years old, and it was what I was going to do with my life in order. Number 1, grow taller. This was actually a thing. Number 2, marry Michael Jackson, the love of my life. Number 3, I was going to become a fashion designer because I just loved the way Cyndi Lauper and Madonna looked like they were wearing all their clothes and all their accessories at the same time. Number 4, I was going to become a nurse and then a vet. And number 5, I was going to go on tour with Michael Jackson, of course, because we'd be married. Number 6, I was going to become a news anchor because I just wanted to talk into a mic like Oprah did. Number 7, I was going to be a ballet dancer because, man, you guys, the agility, the grace, the tutus, the FOMO, it was just too much. Number 8, I was going to release an album of duets with Michael Jackson. He would sing, I would flute. I mean, it was just perfect. Number 9, I was going to become a horse rider because one must ride into the sunset to the tune of Dallas. It just must happen. And finally, at number 10, I was going to make a movie, of course, with Michael Jackson. You get the picture, the love was real, young. So of course, as a child, I couldn't have known that it would be almost impossible to fulfill all these dreams, what with the years of studying and training that goes into them. Neither did I know that I was not exactly Michael's type, but that's another story which I won't go into. But what I'm trying to demonstrate is that I had big dreams, which got more realistic as I got older. So what I'm going to take you through, based on changing mindset, unlocking potential, exploiting talents, transforming myself, and the way I relate to people around me, and of course creating opportunities, is how I thought then and what I think now, based on my life experiences and challenges, and also to explain the impact these principles and behaviors have had and continue to have in my life and my work. So kicking off with changing mindset. Growing up, I always had someone either to help me sort out my mess or come to my rescue. My big sisters, my parents. It's not that I was spoiled exactly, but I guess you could say I was kind of sheltered. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't work when you're a manager. The first time I was made a manager at XFM, it was hell because I was suddenly supervising my friends, which came with its own set of challenges. People are slacking off and they expect you to look the other way because you're badés. You know, when you do your job, you're the bitch. You know, there was a lot of resentment because there were other people who felt that they should have gotten the job. And I couldn't have a meltdown. No one from my family could come in to barge in and defend me, which just totally threw me off course because it was not going the way I expected it to. But I had to learn to take the rough with the smooth, to stay calm, focus, not get derailed. I also had to learn that not everything is a disaster. I mean, I'd always wanted to be Mrs. Michael Jackson, and that never happened. But you know what? It's probably a good thing. But you guys don't laugh. I really loved Michael, by the way, just to digress. Michael up until Dangerous Michael, before the plastic surgery just like went wrong, because he was still hot in the Remember the Time video, just a lull. He was. Okay. As to unlocking potential, I'm lucky that I work for the country's largest media house. My job description right now says art director, but I am a radio presenter, show producer, voiceover artist, writer, trainer, MC, event organizer, and many other things in between. And when I first approached the station and begged for a voice test, all I wanted to do was to get on radio. But over the 5 years I've been there, I've unlocked my own potential, and I still believe that there is some untapped talent still in there somewhere, like ballroom dancing, strictly dancing, here I come, as in strictly, seriously. I guess what I'm saying is, don't get stuck in a rut and force yourself to be happy in it. There's always something else to do, and you never know how fulfilling it can be to stretch yourself. I never in a gazillion years imagined that I would be asked to stand before a group such as yourselves for this kind of event, which moves me nicely to the next one of exploiting your talents. An uncle of mine once told me that I am a professional yappist, and it's true, I do talk a lot. Chatterbox, motor mouth, flappy gums, I've been called all of it. And apart from my official job, I sometimes get paid to do it, which is really rather nice. I'm also a classically trained flautist, or as a good friend of mine likes to say, a professional blower. Make of that what you will. And until I came back to Uganda, it was simply a hobby. It was just something that I had done since I was about 11 years old because I am truly obsessed with music. So I chose the flute purely because I like silver things and I thought it sounded nice and no one else in my family was doing it. So when I moved back to Uganda, I performed at my cousin's wedding and the rest is history. I started getting gigs and I could not believe that people actually wanted to pay me to do this. So I guess all I'm saying is if there's something that you do and you do it well, I really don't see anything wrong with getting some extra money for it. And you never know what you're actually good at until you really get in there. Onto creating opportunities. I've always been a very get involved kind of person. I went to a Quaker school for 7 years, an all-girls Quaker school, and it was one of the many things we were taught being part of a community. So I get involved in a lot of activities at work, which has helped me in various ways. I work in a very big company, so I've met lots of people in different departments. You never know what business opportunities can come up. Exposure, top bosses notice you. At one time I complained quite frequently at the number of meetings and things that I had to attend, but somebody told me, you know what, it's actually a good thing because people think that you're worthwhile, they value your opinion and your input. Also, I tend to proactively go and ask, I'm like, okay, there's this kind of event happening, it's Vision Group, do you need an MC who speaks English and doesn't speak Luganda that well or at all? Hey, I'm here. So always try and see where you can bring your talents to the fore. Build your brand, live your life, but just remember not to stretch yourself unrealistically because you have to balance your time, get enough rest, decompress, and find your happy place, essentially. As to my final point, which is transformation, I used to be a very negative person. I hesitate to use the term drama queen, but I wasn't far off. I would literally make myself sick with worry over stuff. What are people going to think of me? Will they like me? Will I let my parents down? Will I let my family down? And all the while, I was not giving myself time to learn from mistakes I had made. And for the longest time, this kept me back from realizing my full potential. So cheesy as it may sound, there is no way in hell I could have been able to help someone else suffering from the same kind of mental setbacks that I was suffering from. So once I got myself right, and believe me, it took some time, and it's an ongoing process, I was able to be a better manager, better colleague, better friend, sister, daughter, lover, and just overall awesome being. To quote Janet Jackson, I learned to water my spiritual garden, which is devoid of F's to give, pardon my French. I'm often asked why I love butterflies so much. I even have one tattooed on my arm, and it's because butterflies are a symbol of transformation. Think of the changes that occur in a butterfly's life cycle. Just imagine going through so many changes yourself that you were literally unrecognizable at the end of it all, but you still came through whole and beautiful on the other side. I just love what butterflies symbolize, and they're so delicate and yet so powerful at the same time. So once I got myself right, I started asking myself questions like, how can I help the people around me? How can I encourage my team to aim higher? How can I identify potential talent? How can I be a better person? Those are all the questions I started to ask myself. So just to cut this random ramble short, do not limit yourself. Challenge yourself. Love yourself. Take what you were taught and run with it. Transform yourself for yourself. Because life never goes the way you expect it to, but sod it, just live. Thank you.